right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. Thank you for being here. This time I can actually see myself on the show, and I can hear myself, and that's awesome. So maybe this will go a little better than last time. Although I did have
it could only go better than last time.
I had a weird sleeping schedule, Brett, today, so it was very weird. I fell asleep last night at like 10:45 and woke up at 5 in the morning and was like, oh, I'm fresh as a daisy. And then I did a bunch of work. And then at 3:30, I was just like, I'll just take a little nap here. And I woke up at like 6:30 and I'm like, holy crap, the show's about to start. I am totally unprepared.
There you go. Got it right here.
What?
It's over.
Unfortunately? What?
The title of the show. U.S. Men's National Team fans. Are we the baddies?
I can't see it. All I can see is YanksReport, unfortunately.
No, that's what he said. Our name of the video is that. Are we the baddies?
Oh, you actually put that?
Yes.
Are you crazy? Good God.
But
I know.
It's funny.
Thanks.
It's internet culture.
Thank you, Sam, for providing us more material. Again, you just one of the best interviews. I mean, unfortunately, better than our interview with Jimmy, even though we did 3 whole segments with him. But Jimmy, I think, is opening up, right? So I think he was
lubed up on that fence, apparently.
We were one of his first, tastes of the independent interviews, and for a long time that he had done in a long while. And then we're like, no, all these other guys are good too. And we gave him a list of the guys that were good. So I'm glad he was on YanksReport. That's awesome. And I thought he was really frank in these, in that interview. So if you haven't checked that out, go to YanksReport, although we're going to talk about it tonight. Oh, Chris Gary, 199 already. Thoughts on Yank Eden Ludes from Portsmouth? Chris, I'll be honest. I have not got a chance to see a single game, and I don't even know who Eden Ludes is.
I thought that was talking about Eden's Ludes. I didn't know if that was out on the internet or something like that.
I've never heard of Eden Ludes. If that's a person, Chris, you got me, because I've got 365 names on my list, and that's just not one of them. Although Portsmouth aren't, it's not like the top of the rung as far as soccer goes anymore. Now, when I was younger, Portsmouth were in the Premier League, but they haven't been back for some time. But, in the show, we are going to talk about some of the things that Jimmy said during that interview that, sometimes at the time when you're doing interview and his name is Loads. It's not Ludus. All right, Chris, thanks. When you're doing an interview sometimes and somebody gives you an answer, you don't always have a time to process the whole what they said. And then you move on to the next question because, not everything comes to the brain immediately, especially my brain. Sometimes I need some time to process things.
It helps us when we're interviewing somebody that there's always one of us on top of it. Whereas, with Sam, it's just him and Jimmy, and man. Great. It'd be great.
I mean, I'm sure Sam does not drink before every one of his shows like we do. So
he's just with us.
I mean, when I woke up at 6:30, that was one of my biggest concerns. How many drinks can I slam down before the show starts? So, boom, it's been fixed. You want to start with some of the chunks of the video that we wanted to comment on, or I know you did specifically, and then we'll take questions.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got to pull it up now. So
we need one of those technical difficulty symbols to go up on the screen when these things happen. We are going to get better at this, folks. And I wish we had like a producer. You see all these other shows on YouTube. They actually have like a producer who does the show, and they've got all that stuff lined up, all the slides, all the videos, blah, blah, blah. And we don't.
Okay. Here we go. Right. Let's go with this. Yeah?
No.
It's an invalid file type.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, all right, we're going to try this a different way. Hold on.
It shouldn't be an It should be completely valid. It's a screen capture.
Bam. And we'll obey him.
There we go. All right.
We're going to do this a different way.
Here we go, Capture. All right.
We're going to do this a different way.
Let's do it. Jimmy on Toxic Fans. No sound, though.
No sound?
No sound.
All right. We're going to try this again, guys.
Jiminy Christmas.
System audio. Let's share that. How about that? That might help.
Yes. I appreciate all of you hanging in there with us.
All right. Third time's a charm. Give me a thumbs up.
No.
Motherfucker.
Still no sound. I did want to mention while we're working on this that Brendan Aronson went the full 90 and got an assist versus Bayern today. And I thought he looked spectacular. And if that's the kind of Brendan Aronson, I'm sure after that game, Bayern were like, damn, maybe we should have gone after this kid. Maybe we should go after this kid. So we'll see what happens there. But what a fantastic game by Aronson and the whole Salzburg club going head to head with Bayern and, you know, really performing just out of their ball sacks. It was awesome to watch. And then Mark McKenzie did not play for Genk again today. What the hell is going on there with him? All right, here we go. Maybe.
I want us to tiptoe into the waters of Arsenal Fan TV, where it kind of started in that same way. Hey, we really love our team, but then they realized, the algorithms work when we're more negative, and we make more money and we get more views when we're negative. So you start to, and it's really, listen, I've been a part of it. It is very intoxicating when you start to get a lot of traction and you get a lot of engagement by being kind of an asshole and just saying snarky stuff all the time. And I just hope we still maintain that balance of because the thing is, if you and I write with the Yank Report, if you write a nice balanced take and it's somewhat positive about it, doesn't get anywhere near the traction that it does if you go hot and take a hot take. So that sucks. And I don't want us to lose that nuance and balance that I think is really important, especially to fans that are just getting into the game, that the U.S. men's national team is a gateway drug into the bigger sport.
All right, hold on. Almost felt like he was talking about us.
Yeah.
But
I think once he got around to the intoxication and assholes, I mean, I feel like he pretty much was saying it's totally those dudes over there.
No, I don't think he was talking about us, but
no,
because when I think about it, I'm thinking about, you know, Sam is mostly a positive dude, right? Mm-hmm. So that comment, how could Sam get as big and as popular as he has? It's not just his production value. It is his takes as well, and they're good takes, and they're not always negative. And in fact, he gets criticized for not being a negative enough. And yet his show is one of the biggest shows on soccer shows on YouTube. And then you got Tact. I guess Tact can be a little snarky. Pete's not really that snarky. Pete's just tells it like it is. So I don't think anybody's really going. I mean, if I had an example of who's going out there and trying to get the negative clicks, maybe it happens on Twitter, Brett. Is that
so? Yeah, I was about to say, generally speaking, the toxicity that everybody talks about Twitter is usually social media in general, not just Twitter. I mean, Twitter is definitely a shitstorm there of toxicity, if you will.
But that's just toxic. Toxic across the board. So he certainly can't be talking about just Twitter, right? I thought he was talking about shows and articles.
Yes, he is. He is talking about in that very scenario. He is talking about how shows that take a more of a negative spin on things generally will draw in more views than happy-go-lucky, and that's very true. People love drama, despite the fact that they say they don't love drama. But I think the problem is that we're kind of overlooking the issue here. It's not that people are just out there to be toxic. It's like, oh, I hate Berhalter because he looks funny. But I mean, the issue is that we've gone about a year and a half now. I mean, we had a little bit before the beer bug, but we've gone a year and a half of games, and we've just been trying the same thing over and over and over again. And patience is waning. And that's the problem, is that people are like, well, we'll give him a chance. He's gonna change some things up. It doesn't happen. We keep calling the same people. We keep trying the same, square peg into a round hole. And eventually people get fed up with it. And everything, all of a sudden, everything's Berhalter out or hashtag Berhalter out. We have all these negative videos because even if we win a game, sometimes the game is just ugly and not entertaining to watch, and there's still a lot of negatives behind it, even though we have a good result in the end.
I mean, we uglied our way through the Gold Cup most of the way.
We
won the Gold Cup.
I think
right?
our second game we won like 7-1. I think that was the only game that probably wasn't ugly.
Yeah,
and Mexico was okay. It was fun.
We should have. Anyhow, the point being is like when we won the Gold Cup, I don't remember putting out like a horrible headline like we won the Gold Cup, but we sucked, and we're lame, or there are all these problems. I mean, we just put out the basic headline. And the take might have been more nuanced than that. Obviously, game by game by game that we did. But I mean, have we had a lot to be that happy about for the last year and a half? I mean, let me know. I mean,
minus the actual results.
They're moments, and we openly say, here are the good things. We when it's good, we say it's good. When it's not good, we say it's not good. And I don't think that you and I worry one click about anybody being interested in the show or not. I mean, it'd be nice if they were, but if they weren't, we could live with that too.
We welcome people to come onto our show and downvote us and write horrible takes in our comment section.
Yeah,
it all counts to our algorithm. We're fine with that.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of kicks in the balls, so I appreciate that to all of you out there. That I know that Sam, Pete, and Tack get a lot of hate mail. We don't. I don't know why. I mean, it's great though. I love it. Someone calling a player trash is negative. Saying they shouldn't be on the team because of constant bad performances is not. Exactly, David. Yep. I don't think we've ever called a player here trash.
No, ever. I think we've gone out of our way. We've gone out of our way to say Roldan, Leggett, Zardes, even Acosta when he has bad games. We go out of our way to say, hey, they've accomplished a lot more than I ever have or ever will. Obviously, well past my prime. So they're not garbage. We have better options, and that's people are like, you're being mean to the players.
But he's right. There are guys out there that call things people trash, garbage.
I think it's almost a bit of a hyperbole in the sense that, again, after a year's worth of calling in the same players that we all question, they're still being brought in. So it's just sort of like somebody's fed up with it. Like, he's garbage, he's trash.
I get it.
I don't feel like going through the whole 7-tweet spiel about how, Roldan had that nice play against Honduras that resulted in a goal, but
that's one thing he's done. Yeah. So it's like, and I know that Pete puts up like too many when he has the cap section. It says too many for
not wrong.
It's completely fine. He's not calling him junk. And then, he's going into the details about why the player isn't good. And it's never personal. We don't come on here. We call, we've called Breck Shea the llama. And we make up silly nicknames for certain players, but Woolly Mammoth. But none of it's malicious. It's all in good fun.
I mean, even your the turd is just a joke.
It's a joke.
It was a filler, and a bit off the little motion, but
I couldn't remember his name. But I thought the things he said were turdy, so I just called him the turd.
There we go.
All right, let's move on to the next clip, unless we have more questions.
Nope, hold on. I don't think I shared properly.
I was hoping we'd see some of the porn that you've recently recorded on there. By the way, while we're waiting, Rangers and Sands defeated Reyna in Dortmund today. All right, go ahead. What an amazing game that was.
I could tell a little bit that Johnny B was affected by it, and mainly because
Bornstein.
There was a undercurrent of Johnny Bornstein is only with the team because he's Bob Bradley's guy. Bob Bradley drafted him at Chivas USA. Bob Bradley had a vested interest in getting him minutes or getting him better. And not to say that Johnny B didn't deserve it, but it just felt like he was getting more opportunities than other guys that maybe had done more at that point in their careers or were doing just as much as Johnny B to get those reps, get those minutes with the team. And then there maybe were performances where he didn't play particularly well, but then he'd still get rolled out. And I feel like he became a target not only for the fans, but also for some of the players who thought this doesn't feel fair, right? It should be, in some ways, you feel like the U.S. or any national team should be a little bit more democratic. How are you?
Man, what that moment reminded me of, Brett? It reminded me of when Jimmy was on our show back in like 2012 or something like that. I don't know what year it was. And he just came out and said, Freddie Adu is one of the laziest players I've ever played with or practiced with on the national team. He just thinks he deserves to be there. And, when we do our runs, he's always in last. He's always just lollygagging around, joking with the coaches and whatever. And they let him get away with that. He's like, no, man, you got to work. You got to work. Jimmy was saying that back then. That was that kind of honesty about Jonathan Bornstein. Although we're talking about a player in Jonathan Bornstein that went on to have a long career in Mexico before coming back here and playing for your Fire. So it's not like he played in some lame league his whole career.
I was pretty harsh on Bornstein coming to play for Chicago, but I've warmed up to him again.
I think he's done fine for you.
I don't think yeah.
He's not the problem. That was sure. Oh God. Casanova asks or says Bornstein was really all we had at his position at the time, pretty much. Well, I guess we could have moved Beasley back there earlier.
I almost feel like we could probably call Bornstein up now.
But you have to remember during that time,
left back is always the spot we're hurting on,
But I think Beasley was injured a lot during that time period too, so we really didn't have a whole lot of options. But does every manager have their guys? Absolutely, they do. Sure. Look at the team Bruce Arena is building right now at the Revolution. He brought in Leggett. He knows Leggett very well. Mm-hmm. He brought in Omar Gonzalez. What? Yeah. And who'd he just get?
Josie
Altidore. He is building a team he knows. That's what Bruce does. He's been doing this his whole career.
That's a solid trio for any team in MLS.
Listen, that's the Rebs. We wouldn't accept him doing that if he were the national team coach right now, or maybe we would, because we generally
we already have 33% of that on the national team, Derek.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. But
what's another two players?
He's right that everybody gets his guys. The crazy thing is him talking about it that openly and saying, yeah, some of the guys are like, what's he doing on this team? He hasn't earned this. And that happens on every team. Trust me, it does. It might be, something's going to make John Brooks extremely bitter going forward. Can you only imagine? He's playing at Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga. You better believe he's a little better. There's no way. Absolutely. There's no way around it. And Scally must feel the same way. I'm sure there's going to be a little chip on Hoppy's shoulder going forward. I'm sure, and those things can be helpful or hurtful. How many times did Dempsey get kicked off the first team at Fulham or sent to the bench? But every time they brought in a new manager, and yet he had to prove himself.
Same thing happened to Michael Bradley in Europe. Every time he had a new coach came in, more or less benched him, and he ended up working his way back in. Not benched, but it happened only for like a game or two.
It happened at Gladbach, and then he got like a handful of chances at Aston Villa, and they just threw him into the game, and he didn't do well, and he never played again. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, bitterness is something that happens. There's no doubt about that, but. Yes, all managers have their favorites.
This just brings us back to the point that we talked about earlier, that even though we bring up Roldan, Leggett, and Zardes consistently, and some people will bring up Acosta, and some people might bring up other players, but those three particularly we bring up, and it's not because they're bad players. It's just we have better options. We talk about PFUC, we talk about Sargent, Scally, Brooks. Busio, Tessman. Go down the list.
Yep.
Luca De La Torre up until this last window.
Oh yeah, we've been screaming about that for 6 months.
So it's not a hack and slash at the players. Bob's. Now obviously it's Greg's, but Greg's favorite. It's not a hack at them by any means. They're still professional players. It's just we feel most people feel there are better options out there.
Because there are.
kind of brings us into a question we had that of last segment actually, last live stream. But as it turns out, Julio decided to tag a straight red card on Twitter, which is another soccer specific account that hasn't been active since like 2012.
His account?
No, the straight red at straight red card.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we got a little underline thing going on.
Yeah, straight underscore red, guys.
Right.
So let me pull up his tweet.
Yeah.
All right, you see that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to read that. That's a little
right on
shaggy.
Julio asks, why does Brooks, Lennon, Mark McKenzie, Zardes, and Roldan get called over Scally, John Brooks, Hoppy, and Sargent? And then Greg doesn't get criticized for it heavily at straight red card.
What's the lollipop thing below that?
Oh, I wrote Bill Archer alluded to Greg is looking for a World Cup, looking past the World Cup to an MLS career. Or perhaps Greg is on a higher level than the rest of us peasants. The world may never know. It's the Tootsie Roll Pop commercial. Like, how many licks does it get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop?
I know. I like that one was made in the 70s and they brought it back pretty, I don't know, like 10 years ago and started using it again. Because it's the same one I watched when I was a little kid. How many licks does it take?
Mm-hmm.
So
well, it's classic. There are definitely commercials out there that are just pure classics.
And this is going to actually lead into what Jimmy Conrad says later about Camp Cupcake. Because why does Brooks Lennon get in? Let's start with Brooks Lennon. Brooks Lennon got in because he got a chance. He got to go into the camp. And
which is Jimmy's point later on, and we'll talk about that later, guys.
Yeah. That's why he made it, because there's a recency bias. Greg has very much a recency bias. The last guy to piss on Greg's leg gets to stay. That's the way it works. Or he pisses on their leg while they're in the shower. Either one of those two, they get to stay. And then Zardes, old Columbus guy, loves him some Zardes, knows his system, right? Whatever the fuck that is. I mean, we know what it's supposed to look like, but it doesn't.
Not utilizing a 9 properly, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna get tagged on that by some people, but
Roldan, again, a Greg favorite. Been a Greg favorite forever. So that's just. I mean, though we've seen some Greg favorites disappear. I mean, Bello, since he's gone to Armenia Bielefeld, because, well, he needs to get normalized with his teeth. The fact that Scally, Brooks, and Hoppy were not called up is absurd. I mean, for us, people are going to say, well, Hoppy doesn't play for Mallorca. Well, a lot of the guys he called up haven't played for 4 months either in the last window, because MLS has been out of season. So that didn't really seem to matter. It would have been a nice pickup for Hoppy if he would have been able to get to camp, practice, and maybe get some 15 minutes here or 10 minutes there. It might have lifted him, especially if he scores a goal. Then he can go back to Mallorca and say, hey, I just played for my national team and I scored a goal. And as far as Sargent, go ahead.
Well, and I was going to say, in fairness, Jimmy does go on to talk about a lot of these players are brought in for outside reasons. And it's usually, and he talked about how he was even one of those quote unquote outside reasons in the 2006 World Cup, whether it's your communication, ease within the group, or being a leader, stuff you bring to the team that's not necessarily brought up on stats and data. I mean, every coach is going to bring those type of players in. He talked about Tim Ream as one of those options, not necessarily a best center back option for us, although he's doing very well for Fulham. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely reasons why Berhalter is going to bring his favorites in, and they may not be apparent to us. And we may think they're stupid to call up.
Some of them are very good favorites. Matt Turner's a very good favorite to have. Zimmerman, excellent favorite to have. I have no complaints that he is a Berhalter favorite.
I get called out immediately. Look at
I don't buy the European young guys seeing Roldan and Leggett as leaders. No, I don't either. I think that Jimmy is contradicting himself sometimes here, because the problem with bringing in favorites is the rest of the guys like Brooks, they get left home. Hoppy, they get left home. Sargent, they get left home. Well, not Sargent, he's a wussy. But the other guys will get salty about that. They're at home at night going, why am I not on this team? I don't understand it. If I'm John Brooks, I'm getting real salty real fast. And so, and Hoppy will too. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
well, did you read the article that was on Transfer Market about Scally?
No.
So Scally came out and flat out stated that, after that November, so he's like, oh, my manager here at Gladbach, he's very encouraging. He's like, hey, you got this, you can do it. Come on, you're good, doing great. But after that November window, he hasn't heard back from Greg since.
Are you shitting me?
He said in an article, and I responded to the article going, I bet you anything he's going to get a phone call from Greg saying, hey, what's up, buddy?
Or he won't, because he just
it worked for Luca De La Torre, so why wouldn't it work for him?
I don't know how much you can cross.
Hey,
I don't know how much you can cross Greg. I know you weren't allowed to cross Jurgen unless your name was Jermaine Jones. So there's that. Recently, these insecure pundits are blaming what Twitter posters say to the most vocal YouTubers. Cowardly from Conrad not to call out specifically who he was talking about. Scared they can't control the narrative anymore. No, they've lost the narrative. I don't know if Jimmy's one of the guys that's really too worried about that. He might be. I don't know. He doesn't seem that way to me, but other guys are certainly sketchy about this. They don't like this.
So yeah, you have Gomez's crew, you have Kegolaza and all that. They all, not they all. Sorry, let me rephrase this. I guess I'm going to start from the beginning here. Jimmy has, as publicly stated, a number of responses on Twitter who he thinks may be wrong at certain times. He doesn't necessarily 100% agree with everybody. He doesn't disagree, which is perfectly fine. We love that aspect, that people can disagree and have civil conversation about it. I think he's not necessarily alluding to anybody in particular. He talks about how the negative content on Twitter from time to time gets better views. Well, of course, we all see that. Even he said he saw it too. So I don't know.
But Jimmy wasn't just talking about Twitter. He was talking about content.
Oh, that's why I brought that up. Yeah.
And if he's going to bring up content, it would be, I think, a good idea to call some people out specifically that you're talking about. Otherwise, it just smears the whole thing.
I mean, as far as YouTube content is concerned, there are other content creators out there besides our little circle, and that circle is growing. But outside of us, most people who are outside of our little circle have podcasts that are on Spotify and stuff like that. They're not necessarily huge and prevalent on YouTube. So, I feel like the comments probably, when it comes to YouTube content, encompasses us all.
Well, here's the philosophical issue with this. When you make a general statement like that, and you don't give an example of someone, then it's really hard to have a conversation about it, because it's like, who did it? Who's doing the negative shit? I want to know who that is. I can't think of a single person. They're out there. I see them on Facebook, but they're not writing articles. They're just doing stupid shit and saying stupid shit. I can't think of a single media person who does material that is all negative. Like the title is like, Berhalter sucks cow cock. Cows don't have cocks. Bulls do.
Bullcock.
I just haven't seen anything like that before. Are the mainstream media pundits insecure about the new people coming up? They absolutely are. They absolutely are, and they are cynical.
They have their decades, depending on who you're talking about, worth of experience, and they see people coming in off of YouTube that have been here for a year and a half, 2 years,
and
they're garnering much more traction than they are on their articles and their publications.
The only reason a lot of those mainstream pundits that we're talking about aren't distrustful of us is because we were around 10 years ago and they remember us from Big Soccer. The new people They're like, who are those guys? What are they doing? What's going on here? So yes, there's a little bit of that going on. I'd be lying if I said it were untrue. It's true. It's happening. I've heard it. I've talked some people down from it. And but it is true. But they're going to get over it. They're going to have to get over it at some point because it's just a reality now. But a lot of mainstream media is worried about losing their power right now, right? Mm-hmm. They're worried about the independent voices on any topic online or on YouTube. Any topic. They're like, why do people listen to those people? So,
well, and that's the thing. I've told a number of people that we've interacted with in the past and present, when they start getting a little butthurt about comments on Twitter and stuff like that, is that the general public, the population that watch YouTube and are on Twitter, they love authenticity. They love people who are real. They don't necessarily need a polished turd.
Yeah.
So.
Right. I mean, and that's
Keep
funny
going back to that.
because poor Sam gets all this hate because his studio is so nice.
Oh, can't wait till I get my basement finished and people can bitch about that on mine.
It's not like
I'm not going to look like I'm in a dungeon, guys, after this. I'm going to have light overhead in front, stuff in the background. It's going to be nice.
It's always going to be like this.
He went all out, man. He thumbtacked 2 scarves up to the wall.
hammer. Done. Studio done. All right. Jose Lopez, $4.99. Thanks, man. Did you see that comment section for Sam's video? A lot of oversensitive fans can't handle any level of criticism towards Greg. Oh my God. Yeah, they exist. They exist.
Not on our channel, though.
Not really. No. But I mean, there are Greg, even our video that I put up on Facebook, which was like, who are the top 3 managers to replace Greg, right? And it didn't say he was going to be replaced now or he needs to be replaced right now. That was just the title. And people freaked out. And some are like, none of them. I'm like, and another guy's like, he doesn't need to go. He's doing just a fine job right now. He's all kicking ass. Why are you posting this? I'm like, did you listen? We don't say he's going now. We say eventually, when he does go, here are the options.
And that's the funny thing, because obviously you deal with the Facebook responses, and I never see them. Twitter for us is wonderful. People love us. They respond to us. And even when people get a little confrontational, I deflect with humor, and then we're all good. But man, you on Facebook, man, you get shit stormed.
Only on one page. U.S. national team page. And that is the page I get shit. Because there are Greg diehards there, and they will fall on their sword, just like our friend did about Freddie Adu for 10 years before he's like, oh, he's playing in 3rd Division Finland.
Calling that S word.
Jake, can Polished Turd be Twelman's new nickname? Polished Turd. I think we're going to stick with Tight Shirt now. $10. Thank you, Jeff Fulton. By the way, we love all your comments all the time on our YouTube page as well. You guys and I grew up with U.S. soccer and MLS being a protective, insular way to protect and grow the game. They don't need to do that anymore. No, they don't. They actually didn't need to do it before. And with that, they are losing their power. Ugh, I wish they were losing their power. They're losing the narrative, that's for sure, because they're inauthentic and they're full of shit. And when you're inauthentic and full of shit, like, people can figure that out in a second now. It takes very little time. When you got the turd making announcements, narrative announcements before you do your interview, which he stopped doing, by the way, since we call him the turd.
Really? Maybe the turd is actually the turd, and he's on there. Maybe that's his way of saying, "All right, you got me, guys."
I wish, man. I wish we were the reason that they stopped doing that garbage, but. Are they losing their power there? No, that's the weird thing. They're not. They've got a firm grasp of power. And if there is going to be a rotation made of power within USSF, it's going to be a slow rotation. Or there's going to have to be a massive scandal, because these people are all in the same clique, and they're just going to bring guys. So they'll rotate guys out of the clique and off the board, and then they'll rotate some new ones that are in the clique onto the board, and they'll even bring back some old people too if they have to. So it is a clique, and they're not losing power. I wish it were true. I mean, I wish I could see it getting shakier, but it's not. And it's been like that. I started writing soccer articles when I was 22, 23 years old. That is 26 years ago, and nothing's changed. There have been brief respites from this tyranny during certain managers and coaches. I just think like the Bruce Arena, I just remember him being like totally open to whatever question you want to ask. And if you didn't like the question, he just answer it like a smart ass with his whole New York accent thing going on, you know?
That brings us back to that question people ask, like, oh, what if Berhalter had more of like a Bobby Knight personality? We would love it. We would love it. That'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Content. Perfect. It'd be wonderful.
I mean, Bobby Knight, I don't know if he could handle coaching a soccer team because you got more than 5 guys out there to scream at, and he'd be hoarse at halftime.
And you can't pick that bench up and chuck it onto the field. It'd be very, it wouldn't be impressive at all. It'd be like,
you could do that.
Knock it over,
suppose. Maybe. You could have one on a plastic one on the side there that you could chuck on. But listen, Bobby Knight's attitude probably isn't a healthy one to have for this coming generation anyhow. He was very nasty to a lot of players. So I don't think that would work with this generation. I don't think they take, like, if you grab my neck, even my age, I'm gonna fucking punch you in your face. So, and I think most kids today would they do the opposite. They'd emotionally crumble if you grab their neck.
I guess in fairness with soccer, if he did that to a player, they'd probably fall over to the ground, roll around, and then he'd get a red card and get ejected. So we're good.
All right. Let's move on with Jimmy. What else does he have to say?
Wait.
We got more? We got more. Oh, Jesus. Guys, you guys are being really nice tonight. I appreciate that. Thoughts on my 23-man roster for the World Cup? Stefan, Turner. This is going to be really hard.
Let's go by position here because Stefan Turner, then Horvath.
Yes, and yes. Dest, yes. Anthony, yes. Scally, yes. Gomez, no. Still playing at Real Sociedad B. When he moves up to Real Sociedad, give me a call. Then I'll start talking about Jonathan.
Yeah, I think Scally's probably going to be the left back backup if we got to go off this, and then pull in somebody like, I don't know where Yedlin's going to be at Inter Miami. Right?
Miami.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or if it's going to be a Cannon or more at that point. But I think Scally's going to be the backup to left back or the rotational player in that sense.
Or is he?
Well, if he doesn't ever get called up, maybe he won't.
It's Greg. Greg could leave Scally out.
We'll call him Brooks Lennon and just hope that Desk can shuffle over to the left.
Scally is interesting. You mentioned the comment he made. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens there.
He's got 23 games in Bundesliga this season. There's zero reason why he hasn't made the field once.
Yeah, but he just lost his starting role because all the guys are now healthy. So I mean, I'm just saying, Brett.
Sure, I understand where you're coming from now, but I mean,
he might get like 5 minutes a game from here until the end of the season. So if everybody stays healthy, so we'll see. But I agree. I would like to see Scally on there. Gomez, I need more. I just watched his Real Sociedad B game and all his touches. Meh, was all right.
Wait a second. Hold on. So somebody responded going, Chuck says, no center backs. That's brave.
On this list, he's got no center backs.
Brian, you're killing me, man.
Well, let's just go through the rest of them for Brian. Adams, of course, yes. McKenna, yes. Reyna, yes.
Miles, he forgot those two.
Oh, that's okay. We would have assumed that at some point, unless you're going to play Sargent center back. Which
why not?
You might be good at, actually. De La
Torre. Tyler Adams played center back today.
Yeah. Not something I want to see much of going forward. Musa, yes. Busio, maybe. Let's just see what happens there. Maybe. I mean, let's see between Busio and Tessman who really earns the job there eventually.
Over time, yeah.
At Venezia. But Busio, okay. He's certainly in the picture. Pulisic, well, yes. Weah, Aronson, Sargent. Yeah. Pepe, Pifok. I can't. The only one I disagree with is Gomez because he's got a long ways to go. That's it. The rest of it is spot on, Brian. All right. We ready to do the next?
Do. We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. All right, Jimmy, bring me some heat. Bring me some heat, Jimmy Conrad.
Do it. Keeps going away.
But there it is. All right, good.
We're back.
Performing your current form. I mean, we're already going through it with Jordan Pifok with the current team, and dude scored 19 goals and 3 assists in 31 games. How does he not even get a look? And Daryl DK has done some things like, what is even happening? And Jonathan Brooks was named one of the players of the week in the Bundesliga. Like, what? Why can't we call that guy in? So every coach is going to have their ideas of who they should bring in and who fits into their system a little bit better, and has some of that stuff that can't be measured through data and analytics all the time. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes they just fit in better with the group. All these intangibles that I think are very important. And listen, I'm an intangibles guy. I was on the national team because of the intangibles I brought. I'm a good communicator. I put guys in good spots. I put fires out before they start.
All right.
Okay, so Derek, I like a lot of the content of that video, but you left off like the 20 seconds beforehand. That led up to it.
I just heard Pifok and started recording.
I know.
But go ahead, provide context.
He talks basically, if I recall correctly, he talks about how players and fans are confused why certain players aren't included. So with that segment, I had mentioned how we've talked about Sargent, DK, Scally, Testman, and Busio. And I even mentioned, why not bring in Alan Sonora, since we can integrate him into the system, since that Ruled On and Leggett position don't actually play anymore.
Right.
So, but yeah, the concept of these players constantly getting called in, or even getting playing time for that matter, can be upsetting to players who are achieving greater feats at the club level and aren't getting the same option or opportunities.
Look how bitter De La Torre is.
He deserves it. Deserves every minute of it.
He said, I deserve to be there a while back. This is how good I am. I've been this good for a while. That's what he said.
Yeah.
In his presser.
I'm pretty positive this is how I've been playing all year long.
So I don't know why. He said it's just up to the manager. That's like saying, yeah, it's just up to that dumbass who doesn't realize how good I've been.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure... I'm hoping Greg didn't take it that way, but that's literally what De La Torre
after
said.
that game, if he doesn't get called up, I hope. Well, he won't get ripped a new one, but he'll get ripped a new one from us toxic fans.
Well, he'll get a question like this. So, Greg, last window you brought on Luca De La Torre, and he was really good. Greg, how come he was left off the this roster, this newest roster?
Because he kicked me in the nuts.
Greg,
no.
Yeah, Greg will say.
I say that out loud.
Yes, you did. Greg will say, I'm going to try to do my Greg here. Well,
this is a nice Starbucks cup I got.
Well, Jeff, to answer your question, the reason Luca's not on here right now is because he's really he's not in form,
lacks verticality.
And we really feel in this next window that we need a different type of player for his position. So that'll be his answer. It'll mean nothing. There won't be an answer.
Well, and it's funny because Jimmy and Sam talk about that too. They talk about how what would happen if, say, if Tack or Pete were to have Berhalter on their show. They would ask the question, hey, why do you keep calling in X, Y, and Z when A, B, and C are significantly better? Well, they fit the system, and I just have trust in them. And he just brushes it aside, and he will never give him a right answer. That's basically what he said.
Yeah, I mean, if you really think that Brooks isn't in form, that's your reason? What a joke, man. You were just lying. You're lying. And, there's nothing there, said Greg. And I know we're one of the people that have brought this to the forefront, and we've said it so many times. It gets quoted on all the other shows at this point. There is a problem. I think Tack's the only one that refuses to mention it. because he knows some of guys in Brooks is his entourage. So, and of course they're going to dispute that too, because they don't need that getting out there.
Mhm.
They don't need that getting out there. It's not going to help John Brooks for people to know there is a personality clash there in many ways. So
apparently the Rapids just lost
in what?
CONCACAF Champions League.
Oh shit! I thought that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Although
Sounders play at 9:00 or right now, I guess.
Oh, they're on right now?
I'm guessing they're starting up, yeah.
Is it on some stupid shit fucking non-channel that no one can watch? Or is it on like Paramount Plus or ESPN Plus?
Great question.
Some weird fucking channel that no one can watch unless they have another subscription on top of the 30,000 subscriptions they already have?
People are saying Fox Sports 2.
I don't get FS2. I get FS1. That's it. So I'm fucked. Oh, I might get it on one of my
TUND.
Yeah.
Or TUDN. Let me rephrase that.
Spanish speaking channels, baby. That's where the solution usually is.
Illegal streams. Pirate Bay. I don't think it's Pirate Bay. I think Pirate Bay has anything like that in there.
Yeah.
You can still sail Seven Seas.
There it is. I found it. Oh, you.
All right, Stream HD. You did not write anything with it.
But thank you.
Let me just, if you want to, you can post something afterwards. Let me just scroll through the chat here. Here's something from you. I'm a frequent listener. Keep it up. We appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm trying to find the fucking game and get it on my screen while we're having our show. But I passed it on accident, and this is the oldest TV in the house, and it's having a problem.
There you go. It's a 16-year-old from Alaska starting in the midfield for Seattle.
Yeah. Who are they playing? Do we know? It's got to be Junk.
Motagua? I don't know. Motagua.
It's Junk. Yeah. We should win that one. And I'm sorry if you're a fan of that team. I apologize, but that's Junk.
Listening to our show? Probably not.
Here we go. Yeah. Motagua. Yeah. They should win this game even with a bunch of 17-year-olds. But I'm sure they'll bring out some of their starters for this game. So, okay. Who was that? You just took him off.
Oh, he just talked about I just put up there because I mentioned it.
From Alaska. Yeah, that's weird. That is weird. I mean,
I don't think that's within 75 miles.
I think there only been 2 professional players in MLS from Alaska.
It's in 100
in the history of MLS. I might be wrong. It might be 3. I don't know. I don't know why I know a weird fact like that.
Strong fighting up all those moose and bears.
Yeah. All right.
By the way, there were black bear sightings in Indiana.
I know you told me that. And there's
somebody
dog sighting. Dog sighting.
Some random person ended up ended up posting a map like, okay, whatever, Google. Where are the bear kingdoms? And then it showed where all the bears are and everything like that. And like the black bears stop northern Michigan. But then I'm like, yep, article. There you go.
Come here, Gizmo. Come here,
hey,
Gizmo.
Chad, appreciate it, man.
That's your friend.
My friend. You guys sound drunker when I don't 1.5 times it.
Yeah, the weird thing is I'm really.
I like the last part of that. You're welcome, Chad.
Thanks for telling my own goal in front of the live story, Dick. What does that mean, Brett?
We talked about own goal stories last live stream, and I mentioned how a friend of mine was in goal, went to pass the ball, and ended up deflecting off his foot into his heel into our goal.
That was Chad?
That was Chad.
He needs to put a comma after story. Otherwise, it's hard to understand this story, Dick.
Well, I mean, we do talk about dicks a lot, so who knows?
We do?
No, not as often as normal.
I think we talk about junk, maybe. But
here we go. A lot of people talk about Gizmo.
Come here,
Gizmo.
Come here, honey.
Gizmo got another song about Burhalter.
Come on, come here.
And then it's Gizmo does exist.
He does exist. He's a real dog. Here he is. Yeah.
Is he gonna bark at me?
He's talking.
Hi, Gizmo.
All right, buddy. Thank you for showing up on the show. He's an awesome dog. He's a Papillon.
All right.
He does exist. All right, on to Jimmy. No barking. No,
Shut up.
no
You had your
barking.
15 seconds of fame.
Jesus Christ. Now he's not going to shut up back there. We going back to Jimmy?
Yep, pulling it up right now.
All right.
Of course, it's going to drop down. I'm going to have to pull back up. Boom.
There we go.
Regular basis, but you have to be ready in that moment. And yes, Claudio Reyna played in 3 World Cups prior to that, and John O'Brien had played. But are they ready right now? Are they ready when the whistle blows when we need them against Ghana? You know what I mean? Like that. And it didn't matter if I played in MLS at that point. It didn't matter what I was going to do afterwards. Like, are you ready in this moment? And I think that was pivotal for me. So when.
Okay. It was a shorter one, guys.
Yeah, I don't think I remember it being that short before.
Way to go.
Well, that's kind of the problem, like, right?
Yeah.
Are you ready right now? Well, if you're not injured, then the determining factors about whether you're ready right now could be you didn't get called into Camp Cupcake, right? Because you didn't get the call up to Camp Cupcake. But only MLS players get called to Camp Cupcake. And I think the next clip is of Jimmy talking about Camp Cupcake, right? Like, that gave me a chance to beat out Eddie Pope and Gooch. Really?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
So as a whole, this whole ready in the now, and I'm sure Jimmy agrees 100%. But I mean, we have like I said, we've talked about these players a number of times on a number of these portions of the segment. But I mean, you talk about Brooks, who's been starting for about a month now, month and a half, and playing well. You have Sargent, who's been starting consistently and playing well and scoring a couple goals here and there. Scally obviously was playing up until just recently. So, I mean, these players are ready in the now. Why aren't they being called up? And why are we calling in players who've been out of game shape for 3 months?
Just because they got to go to camp.
Yeah.
And
so this is counterintuitive for Greg in that sense, because he's not calling up the people who are ready now. And I agree with Jimmy on that. We don't play somebody who has 3 World Cups worth of experience as a starter. They may be out of their prime. That's that. But in this situation, when you talk about people who are ready to play right now, you bring them in. Plain and simple.
Yeah. And that this whole thing just spins around, and we're back at like favorites, right? So that's where we're at. We're at favorites, guys that make Greg's balls feel warm and soft. That's what he's looking for. And the more he sees you, the more you have the bias, right? The more of the players, like he brings in Lennon. Lennon he's a good camp. And now he's the ball snuggler. And somebody's got to go because of that. And that would be Scally. And then Brooks is kind of a negative dude who bitches a lot and moans a lot and doesn't bring a positive attitude. And so now he's got to go because he's kind of a negative. He's a kind of a cock, you know, and you don't want a cock on your team. You need a bunch of chickens that will run around and do what they're told. So there's that. Was there a question before that?
Well, no, it was God Kong Snake said, if you're good enough for a top 5 league, you're good enough for United States.
That's for sure.
And Frank, is this for Derek's ball fondling conversation, or was it this that I was doing while he was doing it?
The janglies? That's the janglies. That's what that is. It's when you're underneath and you're jangling yourself. Or she's underneath and jangling you. Or he, I mean, whatever.
Whatever floats your boat.
Whatever. Yeah, you row your boat, baby. It's your boat. Oh, we got another Jimmy.
Frank says balls.
Balls. That always does it. Junk, balls, man marbles, you know, the mighty peaches, the whole thing. Here we go. One more Jimmy clip, I think.
One more Jimmy clip.
For me. So when I guess it's the casual dismissal of the MLS players that kind of drives me crazy. And the Camp Cupcake term is so oh my God, it drives me insane because we see this and the fans see it as such a negative. There's very, 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 very few national teams that have the luxury of bringing in some of your best domestic talent for a couple weeks and identifying who can help your player pool and who can't. And we just casually dismiss that as like, nah, what a waste of time. Are you kidding me? That is like the best purpose of time we could use. When else are we going to, because the hard part is, let's say we have a World Cup qualifying window. I would go in there to those, and I was like, man, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to beat out Eddie Pope and Iguchi Onyewu, Greg Berhalter, and Corey Gibbs. Like, this is going to be my moment. And then we go in, and Bruce's Arena is like, yeah, well, this is going to be a light training on Monday, light training on Tuesday, game on Wednesday, light training on Thursday. Like, there's no chance to prove yourself, to actually go up against these guys in a meaningful way. And that January camp in particular allowed you to do that, to actually win over the coaching staff over a duration of time. And I think we saw that with Brooks Lennon, actually, from what I understand, had a very good camp and got called back into this first qualifying window. Like, he's making and taking advantage of this opportunity. And what I learned from my Gold Cup experience, and so did some of the other guys, Matt Turner, Miles Robinson, really took advantage of it, is, can we count on you in a tournament format? Can you?
Well, the reason Bruce did what he did, Jimmy, is he already knew who you were. He didn't need to give you a bunch of, friendlies to play in. Bruce already knew what he was going to do. Already had it. Already knew it. But listen, we didn't come up with Camp Cupcake 10 years ago, did we? That's around before us, right?
We definitely talked about it ad nauseum. Which I think brings me to my point is, at this point, Camp Cupcake is not necessarily a slight at the players.
No,
it's an acknowledgement of who's playing in this window. It's an acknowledgement of that it's going to be an MLS predominant roster, and we're going to be playing some weekend European team, or we're going to play a CONCACAF light team. It's going to be weak competition, and just get ready for it.
Yeah, we're going to fly to Puerto Rico and play a game against Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And we have a history of players who've made it in the Gold Cup and then found their way onto the national team. That's not for dispute. That happens.
It does.
What happens when you get in front of the coach and you have a chance to prove yourself? You might find yourself coming back. And you mentioned Brooks Lennon, but that was at the cost of bringing in Joe Scally. So consider that being a good or a bad option. I don't know. And again, that's nothing against Lennon, but
as you said it, Scally didn't even get a call.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even a phone call saying, hey, I know we just brought you in the last window to get you, acclimated, but, after you fondled, Pulisic's sister in the hallway, we're going to have to let you go for now. He didn't even get that call. Like, you screwed up or you did something wrong.
Rumors start, Derek. This is how rumors start, and I'm going to have to deal with this on Twitter.
Well, listen, I'm making up a scenario because I'm trying to figure out how in the holy hell Scally doesn't get called up last time. I don't get it. It is bewildering to me. So I get why people are like, what's going on here? What? Joe Scally can't defend. Okay, he can't defend. I think he can. He's done pretty decent.
I think he can defend just as well as any of our other wingback options.
I mean, like, compared to who? Dest?
I'm not saying he's the best 1v1 defender.
No,
I mean, historically speaking, Moore has been one of our better 1v1 defenders on the wingback options. Cannon's been in there too, because neither of them are really great getting into the attack. They've improved, but no, I mean, Scally can defend just as well as Dest or Robinson or anybody else.
You don't get to play for Mönchengladbach.
Yeah. Sorry, Colin. I got to disagree on this one, man.
Yeah. Gonna have to disagree. He's not the greatest defender. You're right about that. I'll give you that, Colin. But I mean, saying he can't defend is like saying Dest can't defend. Well, he can't. Yeah. He's not really good at that either. And Robinson isn't always. I mean, he's been better, way better than he was when he first started.
We're not relying on our wingbacks to actually sit back and defend.
Not a lot. Nope. Not a lot. They are way up the field. We are asking Adams to cover the two CBs as we advance and play higher up the field, like in a very advanced way on the wings. So, yeah, I don't know if defense is really why somebody else would make the team. Like, how good a defender is Brooks Lennon? He didn't even start out as a back in his career. He was a winger. He's not that great of a defender either, actually. He's really not. It's not his forte. He's a good crosser of the ball.
I'll come back to this in a second.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if you're referring this to somebody in the chat, but clearly we can handle criticism.
We can bring it on, baby. We don't care.
Yeah.
Bring on all the criticism.
We're
totally fine with it.
That's all.
Hey, man, we love it. Keep bringing it on. I mean, hey, if you're giving us something to talk about, that's good for me.
Absolutely.
I thought all bald heads stay together, Greg. What does that mean?
This was back in the reference when we were talking about Brooks, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, us follically challenged people have to stick together. I mean, it's just who we are.
Yeah, I'm actually not follically challenged, so I just wear this hat because my hair is ugly and I haven't gotten a haircut in like 2 months, so it's bad up there. It's not good, and plus this might be like a look or a thing, you know.
Worked well for Tim Pool.
Oh God, we got to bring up Tim
Pool. Are we going to call you Derek Pool or?
No, you're not.
Or Tim Ritchie?
Because I don't need that shit. That guy probably gets so much shit. I can't even imagine how much shit he gets on a daily basis.
Oh my goodness, he gets a lot of shit for his because he's balding as well.
Oh yeah. Well,
he gets a lot of shit for it.
Yeah, he wears the cap because he's balding, I believe. I think I've seen photos of him without his cap on. Mm-hmm. It's not pretty. It's not a pretty sight. No offense to bald people at all. I mean, you're getting there, Brett. All right. So do we have anything else?
No, hey guys. Yeah, we've covered our topic with Jimmy. So while we're closing up here, I saw something in the chat. So while we're closing up with the Jimmy conversation here, why don't you guys come up with some quick comments for us to chat about? But we're already an hour into this.
Yeah,
which is about where we peter. You know.
Yeah. No, it's not where we peter. It's where we aim to stop. We only want to do an hour. I've been saying this. An hour is good enough.
The problem is we continue to talk.
I know. Hey,
so all props to Sam and his interview with Jimmy. I thought Jimmy was great in the conversation. I thought Sam did a great job. They covered a lot of topics, and I agree with most of what they said. We have our slight disagreements, and not even disagreements, because I feel like they kind of hit our topics as well. But we're out there to simply say, we'll call a player out, not necessarily just for a bad performance, but a series of bad performances. And then the next window he gets called back in, we're going to say, what the fuck?
Yeah. And just for updates for folks, we are working on times and dates with Meg Swanek. So she'll be on, as well as Max Bretos. So those things are in the works.
And we got Sam coming on too.
I think, yeah, but didn't you say Max was next Thursday? Is that true? Or am I
next Monday?
Might be misremembering.
I think Max is Monday, and then we're looking Wednesday with Sam, which won't be a live stream, guys, by any means, but we'll do our live stream probably on Thursday again, like we normally would.
I mean, it could be shit. I don't care.
We'll see what up.
I'll live stream anything at this point. Well, not anything. Here's me going to the bathroom. No, we're not going to do that. I did want to apologize to you, Brett, because on the last show, you said there's naked yoga on YouTube, and I thought you were an idiot. And there is naked yoga.
I'm a connoisseur of all pop culture, Derek. I know everything.
I mean, I was shocked. There was this one I watched today, just to confirm I wasn't hallucinating yesterday. I went.
That's why he had to take a nap, guys, because he was watching naked yoga all day.
Well, I watched the beaver one. It's like she can actually just like show her beaver and all of that during.
Yes, Colin.
There is absolutely naked yoga on YouTube, and somebody else informed me today that there's actually nudist things as well too, and that's all
educational. People,
educational.
You can get away with just about anything.
And I just thought
the educational tab in there.
I just thought they had done away with stuff like that, but I guess not. I mean, listen, I'm not complaining. I'm happy with it all being there. Trust me, I'm totally fine with it. Not because I like to watch naked yoga. I got other outlets that, serve my needs, but it's kind of fun that that's allowed on. Maybe YouTube could be more open-minded about a lot of other things going forward.
Yeah.
Instead of just naked yoga and nudity colonies. They're colonies, right? Or are they just naked beaches? I don't know. Oh,
there are.
Chibuga. How is your dog's limp? So he has a luxating. Gizmo has a luxating. What the hell is that called? Patella. A luxating patella. So it's not something that's gonna be a everyday thing. He's gonna be fine. As you can see now, he's fine. He walks around on fours. He's all good to go. But like on occasion, he'll have 2 or 3 days where it's kind of irritates him, and he will walk on 3 legs. So, but the vet said he's too old to go into surgery. He's 14
Can't keep up
years
with this
old.
chat. This chat's crazy.
Okay.
Real quickly, Adams got pulled at halftime because of poor performance, apparently.
Yes, that is true.
All right. Let's see what else. Nude yoga stream win.
You do not want to see that, my brother. I am 50. Shit is not all
anything.
together.
OnlyFans coming soon.
Yeah, I'm 50 years old. Not all my shit is in the right place.
On Twitter and YouTube, don't post OnlyFans #OnlyFans because you're only going to get a bunch of bots. Yeah. I know we're going to get a bunch of those now in the comment section, but it's just going to increase our algorithm, I guess.
Yeah, you know more about OnlyFans than I do, just because you're more informed than I am.
I'm a connoisseur of the pop culture. I know everything.
You know your movies, but I know my music. So, between the two of us, we should be able to cover both genres.
Colin, the Altidore rumor. Is that you had mentioned earlier about Altidore being called in next window? Is that what you're referring to? And if so, I think it's kind of crazy that Berhalter's already spreading rumors about the possibility of calling people in a month and a week out before the first game.
What has Altidore done?
He's been injured.
Besides wash his nutsack in the shower.
I'm assuming that is Colin. If it's a different rumor, let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
I'll grab you. I'll pull it up.
Is that he's going to be back on the national team rumor? Because there's 2 rumors actually going around right now about Altidore, and one of them is that Greg's going to call him up for the next window. I mean, if he's going to be a replacement for Zardes, I'm fine with it.
So Colin said, I heard Bruce wants to get him back in the national team. Well, if he has a good season, we'll see.
Bruce wants to get him back on the national team.
Play.
I mean, Bruce has no power to do that. I mean, he can play him. That's about it. But then Altidore has to score, and he has to stay healthy, and he has to not be a pain in the ass to his team, which he was in the last 2 seasons with TFC. He was a big pain in the ass. I mean, he was saying things, not that Jesse Armas should have let him, benched him for that, but Armas did bench him for that. And now, now Armas is the new, what do you call them? Ted Lasso of Man United.
Lasso, yeah.
All right. We got another one of these?
Yep.
No shit. I did more work today than I thought.
All right. So is it pronounced Stanley? Stanley. I'm guessing there's a list there.
So Ainley 44. So who has the better background between Sam and Jimmy? Well, that's a close one. It depends on what kind of what you're going for. Like if you're just like a rah-rah USA guy, then Sam's got this fucker nailed. If you are a kind of more random dude with like weird photos in the background, because Jimmy's got that weird one on the top left. I think it's a guy beating a dead horse. He's got a Stefan uniform. He's got a lightning bolt, and then a bunch of weird shit on the right that I can't see.
Like a lot of stickers or patches or something.
Is that Chairman Mao above his right head? I don't think so.
No.
He wouldn't put that up there. So I don't know who that is. It actually looks like an old painting I did. I'll have to look.
There you go. Did you sell them?
I don't think so. I did do paintings for a while, folks, and I did sell them of players. And then they didn't allow me to sell those paintings anymore because they were of people, real people, and their character and their person, which didn't seem to hurt, people in the past when they've, painted fucking camels cans of soup. If you're Andy Warhol, he painted all kinds of people. They didn't have any problem with it.
I'm going with Sam on this one, just because everything's closer and it's neater. You got all U.S. memorabilia,
and it's tight. I think that's his office, literally his
Mhm.
office at work. He's got
Yeah.
all that. So like he doesn't even have to go home to do his show. He just can stay at work and do a show. And he runs his own company too, I
Yep.
believe. So he's
He
the
talked about
boss.
that. He talked about in that show too, how he can't necessarily just take time off to go to Qatar. Cutter.
Cutter. Chris Gary, Meow's got to transfer to PETA. Might actually help him, actually.
Yeah.
Might actually help him. You know, there was a time, and this is still true in other countries like Cambodia and other countries, but like a lot of the teams are made up of players who actually are playing for a corporation or a like the police academies. It's really weird. And local colleges. You guys remember when Jimmy Conrad pissed off Sunil Gulati?
You need a refresher?
Jimmy probably remembers it. It was around a conference table, and he asked him when the U.S. was going to take the game to the opposition instead of sitting back, and Gulati got pissed. Yeah,
He's
sure
right.
Yeah.
It was a right comment to make, and fuck the thin skins.
But then again, I like looking back on it, and I'm looking at how we play now. I'm like, well, maybe we didn't just need to take it to the opponent. Maybe being a countering team is an okay thing. I don't know.
That was definitely our MO for the longest time.
Yep. But no, I'm glad Jimmy had the balls to say that. The fact that Gulati would get actually physically, like you could tell he was upset, that's just ridiculous. But it's emblematic of how U.S. soccer has operated for the 50 years I've been alive, or at least 40 of the 50 years I've been alive.
Mm-hmm.
The first 10 being no one gave a fuck, so who cares? So there's that. Just Frank. We like being frank. Is it still going to be a 23-man squad for the coming World Cup, or did they increase it? They haven't officially increased it yet, Frank. But the rumor is it's going to be 26.
Mm-hmm.
That's the talk in the background.
More than enough to include Berhalter's favorites, is what you're telling me.
They're gonna listen. If the Rona disappears completely, maybe it will be 23. But with all of the sort of flexibility they've allowed in the last year and a half, I think we will see 26. And again, I think you're going to be able to do 5-man substitutions again. In fact, I just hope they just keep that rule. I like 5-man substitutions. I like it.
Game lively.
I would love it on FIFA 2020, which I'm playing with my stepson now. Like, we can only bring in 3 guys, and yet we'd really like to rest 5 guys, but we can't, because we can't bring in 5. We can only rest 3 guys at the 65th.
You won't have that problem with FIFA anymore.
Is it normal to dribble a little pee as you get older? It might be. Not so far for me. I'm 50, and I've got no dribble thing going on yet. You might want to go to the doctor if that's a thing that's happening on a regular basis. Sparkle Duck, we love you, by the way, and thank you for always being here for the show. But the pee thing, I can't help you with. YouTube recommended me a video about yellow boots. So yellow boots is the guy that froze on top of the mountain, right? And that was which mountain was it? God, Everest, Mount Everest. So, and he was there for 15, 20 years, stuck up there in a cave. And yeah, I'm sorry that you got that video, but I would still watch it because it's grim, but it tells the story of how everybody just sort of passed him by. And I'll tell my friend. Yes, you were asking for a friend. I knew that. I'm sorry. Course. Yeah. But yeah.
We are talking about Dr. Sparkle Duck. So
yes. So anyhow, that's who Yellow Boots is. He died in a cave. Well, he was dying in a cave on Everest, and people went up the hill and down the hill, and they just sort of ignored him and said, well, he's done for. Even though he was still alive, they're just, that sort of the culture back then. Yeah. Culture was, listen, you don't stop to help people, because if you do, you die too. So there's that. Anyhow, lots of great YouTube shows on Yellow Boots. And Sorry, we made jokes about riding him down the mountain.
I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
I mentioned a comment today on Twitter that I think we're going to get canceled at some point in life.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think
Keyboard Warrior posted a snippet of us talking about Harambe back in the day.
Really? Seriously.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Is it something we want to show people?
It's out in the world. It's out in the world right now. So.
What did we say? How long ago is this?
I don't fucking remember this.
10 years ago?
It still has our normal setup here.
Oh, so it's the current show. Okay, so we're fine with that. Sounders are choking. They are choking, but they're playing a lot of guys that maybe shouldn't be playing right now. And so I'm going to have to eat some serious crow if the Sounders end up losing this game. But I haven't looked at the starting lineup, but I did see some young kids on this starting lineup for the Sounders. And I'm like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? They still got some of the diehards out there. Of course, you got the goalkeeper. It's been there for 100 years. Is Roldan out there? I haven't seen him yet, but I've been trying to do the show, so I'm not watching very closely. One of the Roldans is out there. That must be Alex. Is that Alex? I can't tell. Oh, well, we've got I think they do have a bunch of starters out there, so this should be better. The game should be better for them than it's going. Jordan Morris is out there. I saw Jordan Morris. So if you're watching this at the same time, I might be ahead of you or delayed compared to what you're watching. So that's why I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Okay, what are you doing?
Kablooey, you got that?
Okay, so this is a recent show. What did we say?
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm watching that gorilla video the other week with the gorilla, or this week actually, pulling that child through the water. I think as a parent, I'd just be freaking out. Have you seen that?
Don't worry, mommy's here.
This is old. This is really old.
Not what I'd be screaming. I'd be like trying to climb over the rail and get in there. I'd take that gorilla one on one. Anyhow, that's just me.
So yeah, we talked about that situation. That kid fell into the moat at the zoo.
Yeah,
and the gorilla picked up the kid and was just like kind of winging him around the cage.
I will have to admit though, as a parent, I also would be extremely horrified and probably jump down.
I would have too. I would have been an idiot. I would have jumped down there and punched the gorilla in the face, and then the gorilla would have grabbed me and tossed me like a rag doll across the room. Yeah, but I remember that. So that's really old. That's got to be at least 11 years old at this point.
Mike Tyson does want to fight a gorilla. Yeah, I feel like this was an old video. Keyboard would have to tell us.
No,
I'm way too lazy to go back and look.
I have no recollection of that happening in this new era whatsoever. But that's not saying much because of this. But I mean, I don't remember saying that in the last talking about that because that happened a long time ago. Yeah.
I mentioned on the thread that a couple years back there was a time where I was scrolling through the front of like a textbook, like history or math textbook. How students put their name in the math books, they know whose math book it is. And I was scrolling through some of the names of them, and one of them was R.I.P. Harambe.
Did they kill Harambe?
Yeah, they totally killed him.
He didn't harm the child.
Yeah, they killed him.
That's
God Kong, you're correct. I don't think Harambe meant any harm. I think he was trying to protect the kid.
He didn't do anything to the kid.
He's a little strong, a little stronger than normal. But yeah.
Is it Harambe's fault that the fucking adult let their child slide through the bars and slide into the moat?
You beat God King to it, or God King beat you to it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, they should never have killed that gorilla for that. The gorilla did nothing wrong.
That was apparently in 2016. Is when that happened. I thought it was earlier than that.
Really? Yeah. So we did do this recently?
Maybe it was one of our first shows. I don't know.
Dicks out for Harambe? Is that what that means?
That was absolutely a meme that went around the interwebs.
Dicks out. Okay. I've heard about that in golf. What's it called? Something dicks out. You gotta like if you do a bet and you lose it, then you have to tee off on the first tee with your pants down. Yeah,
I don't play golf. Well, I don't play golf enough. I mean, I played it a little bit, but I've never done that.
I'm gonna get you back into it next summer or next spring or
You're just
whatever.
trying to get my pants down? Is that what you're trying to do?
You know it, buddy. I want a relationship real bad.
Hey, gorillas are pretty docile.
Yeah, they are.
Unless you piss it off.
Right. Unless you're threatening them.
It'll beat you into a powder. Just
yeah. But don't let those fools tell you that sharks are like not harmful.
you can ride a shark. I've seen.
I saw
who was it?
Steve Irwin.
Somebody riding a velociraptor on top of a great white shark.
Steve Irwin rode a fucking tiger shark. I get it. Yes, you can do that if you're stupid. I wouldn't recommend it. But some of those motherfuckers will just bite you. That's how that works when they're hungry. Then you have to whip your schwanz out. If your guy doesn't go past the ladies' tee, then you have to whip your schwanz out. Well, that's great because I'm driving. I'm so old now. I drive from the ladies' tee. No, I don't. I drive from the one just behind the ladies' tee. So my mom gets 50 yards on me on every hole. I feel orcas more than sharks, despite there being zero orca attacks on humans.
Dude, I tell you, you've probably seen the number of orca videos on our feed for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But man,
what is that about?
The people that are paddleboarding out there and then the orcas just come up, I would be shitting a fucking brick.
I guess I'm ignorant and I wouldn't. Because I'm like, oh, orcas are nice. I like orcas. But sharks?
It's the appearance. I mean, it's fucking massive. It's intelligent. And it's got that giant white strip that looks like a huge fucking eye.
But it's intelligent. It's like intelligent. And I feel like I could have a conversation with it. Like, can you please not eat me? Or could you leave me alone? Hey, I like you, buddy. You and I, we're both mammals. Everything's good, right? Yeah. Whereas a great white shark has those dark, just horrible eyes and those gums when they open up and they bite your ass. Like, glad it's never happened to me. Are we? Goddamn! How long is this going to go? The show going to go on, Brett? It's the intelligent ones I don't mess with. Chimps, orcas, stuff like that. I get it. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
But it's the dumb ones who will bite you just for no reason at all. So you got to worry about them too. I mean, dumb animals will just bite you. Like bull sharks are notoriously stupid. And they'll bite anything. So I wouldn't be messing with those guys.
Yeah, those orcas going for that great white liver.
You remember when the guy, he's like, yeah, bull sharks are no issue. And he's like, I'll prove it. And he went into the water and with all this mass of bull sharks in Florida, and that fucking bull sharks bit his calf off and he almost bled to death. And that was like on the Discovery Channel. So yeah, don't fuck with the bull sharks.
Anthony's akin to you, Derek.
I stay on land. You don't see a shark flopping down the street. Well, that's kind of funny because there were all those rumors during the New Orleans. Remember when New Orleans went underwater? Yeah. There were like sharks swimming in the streets, apparently, that people were talking about. They're like, there are sharks swimming in the streets of New Orleans.
What happens when you live below sea level?
Right. And that was in 2004 or 3, somewhere around there, whenever the tragedy happened in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it.
Yeah, we could carry that on the whole orca and shark topic, but yeah, we're sitting almost an hour and 30 in, guys.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to end it here.
We're gonna have to. We love you though. Thank you for showing up, especially on all the times we give you like 30 minutes to figure it out. We appreciate it. We're going to get better at announcing it like 2 days before. So you can hit reminder.
I will say, barring a national holiday or anything like that, we predominantly will be recording or live streaming every Monday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday.
Right about 8:15.
8:15. Unless.
Let your Uncle Klaus know.
Unless Brett pulls a hammy. Uncle Klaus. Yes, unless Brett pulls a hammy, and my intestines.
I can't sit on a chair and talk with a pulled hammy.
I mean, or if my intestines fall into my nuts again, my nutsack, and then I'll be in the hospital, and Brett's gonna have to do the show on his own.
That'll be a boring. I'll be a fifth in before we can start. Okay, guys. Otherwise, it'll just be a boring fucking conversation.
Dude, you better get some guests coming on. All right. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, make sure you share it, like it, share it with Uncle Klaus, as Brett said. And we will be back with a show tomorrow as well, where we just cover some other stuff. All right.